All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy Big Dave here on the Bizarcast, which is the official podcast for the Bizarcast. Weird tales of monsters, magic, and machines. Let us know in the chat if our audio is good. I have a completely different audio setup, and it sounds good on my end, but I got to make sure it sounds good on your end. So please let me know in the comments if at all during the podcast it sounds lousy, or if it's too quiet, or et cetera, et cetera. But anyways, guys, Bizarcast 3 is out. Go get yourself a copy. It is our best one yet over at thebizarchives.com. I'm in there. Cypress Walter is back, is in there twice. Robert C. Booth comes back. M.S. Jones comes back. A. Cuthbertson comes back. Bunch of newcomers. Excellent. Great art from the great Brendan Hurd of Arius Press. Shout out to Aegeon at aegeon-sci-fi.com. And guys, we got so much other great stuff over there. Bizarchives, we're really cranking out books, stacking them like pancakes, rising through the ladder. Our guys going to the top, conquering the world. So help us out, support us, go get some books. We got great books over there. M.S. Jones, the great legendary M.S. Jones, star from the Bizarchives, just debuted his magnum opus with us. It's a pleasure and an honor to have that. But it is called Sacred Times Part 1 of a greater series called The Chronicles of Heraldria. Let me tell you, folks, we're getting our first feedback in. The first folks that have been reading it, I just adore it. It is, I'm reading through it now. This is magnificent. It's not, a lot of guys, a lot of epic fantasy tries to follow in the footsteps of Tolkien and fail. This is its own thing, has its own identity. Epic fantasy. If you're a fan of epic fantasy, go get yourself a copy. We got The Willows, Algernon Blackwood from 1907. We have 1922's famous original text of Buck Rogers' Band in the 25th century. The first two novellas that appeared in Amazing Stories from Philip Francis Nolan, who's a Pennsylvanian, by the way. All kinds of great stuff over there at thebizarchives.com. And go check out our Substack. For only $5 a month, you get free ebooks. We send you free ebooks all the time. Sometimes 2, 3, 4 a month. Free ebooks. You can't beat that anywhere. Plus, podcasts. Bizarcast is going to be going over there. You got podcasts, you got awesome articles, you got free stories, paranormal transmissions. We got merch, dude. The Bizarchives is like, we're like putting in overtime for you, for the Bizarre Kangs and Queens out there. So bizarchives.com, check out all that stuff. We're gonna run some promo vids up here pretty soon in this episode. But speaking of books coming out, we have a really cool book coming out. We have a book. It is probably the weirdest, most grotesque, bizarre, cosmic horror title that America has ever seen. It's up there. It might be weirder than the double feature. If it's not, it's on par. So if you love the double feature, you're gonna love this book. It's called the Molybdus Articulate, and with me in studio, sitting right here, I have the guy that wrote the Molybdus Articulate, which will be coming out very soon, Mr. Shane Hawks, my dear friend. Mr. Shane, what's up, dude?
Not much. Thanks for making me be here.
Thanks for I bullied him into coming on. But no, me and Shane have like excellent conversations. Me and Shane, for you guys out there, we are kinsmen. We're in the same kindred together, have been for 6-7 years, however long time. We've been really, really close friends, and we like a lot of we come together on a lot of the same stuff. And then there's other stuff where we are just like complete opposites, and we either get real excited about something together, or we just like sit and debate, and that we just always have excellent conversations. So I was like, bro, why don't you come on and just like be my co-host for the Bizarcast? You're here every week anyways. We hang out all the time. Might as well get in studio. So I bullied him. After months, he's here.
Yes, you finally reeled me in to take part in this lunacy alongside you. Let's hope I don't fuck it up.
Yeah, Wolf Shield says, you don't say no to Big Dave. That's right. I bully people into doing things that they're going to like. That's my whole thing. So anyway, Mr. Shane and me wanted to talk about a couple things. We wanted to discuss. First of all, we're gonna a little later on, we're gonna discuss Molybdus. We are going to discuss cosmic horror. We are going to discuss horror in literature. But I wanted to get into that a little bit later on after we talk about a horror medium that overwhelmingly most people are more familiar with, and that is film, right?
Of course.
When we say film, when we say horror today, to most people think, Freddy Krueger. They think Michael Myers. They think, they think of the horror slasher movies. And, we all like those movies, or at least
they're great movies.
They're great movies.
But there's far more to horror than that.
Yeah, there's far more to horror than that. We're going to talk about that. But leading up to that, we wanted to talk about, me and Shane are big fans of the Ridley Scott movie, Alien, the very first one from 1979.
Yes.
I went back and rewatched it. Did you rewatch it?
No.
You can say no. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely didn't. But I mean, I've seen it like 1,000 times.
Yeah. Let me turn down your gain a little bit. You're kind of blowing me out. Blowing me out, big boy.
I'll blow you out, Dad.
Yeah. Harold Avenue says, question for Shane. Is it true that in England people have all of their teeth taken out at the age of 16 and then replaced by dentures?
Yes, I do believe that's a universal fact.
Yeah.
Send your teeth my way.
Yeah, Shane also has this his first story that appeared in Bizarcast 1 is called Baby Teeth. And it's not a surprise because Shane has a
it's okay to call it an unhealthy fascination.
He loves teeth for some. It's a thing.
It borderlines on sexual.
Shane's always like saying weird stuff with teeth. Teeth is a theme, but I'll tell you what. I don't think that it's. Okay, you take it a little far with the weird stuff. He's being funny, I think, but you will notice teeth is something that is reoccurring in your stories in your writing, and I don't think it's that weird. That is something, because teeth are something that people are really sensitive about. It's something people are squeamish about. What is the worst doctor go to? The dentist, right?
Yeah, and also I think teeth in general are sort of intrinsically connected to horror or fear in general. Fear are solely associated with consuming things and mastication and the destruction and consumption of organic matter. So when you think of monsters or otherworldly entities, you think of teeth.
That's right. I would definitely agree with that. I think that's a pretty astute observation. Yeah, because it's like when you think of like the scariest monsters in movies, like Jaws. His fucking name is Jaws.
Yeah, when's the last time you encountered a absolutely horrifying creature in a horror film that just had gums?
Yeah. Yeah. I can't, because it's like the teeth are associated with being prey, right?
Yeah.
Big sharp teeth associated with being eaten, which is like part of the whole primordial fear thing.
Yeah, it sort of flips your role as a human being from being predator to prey.
Exactly. Things around there. Yeah, no, I think that's a good observation. So speaking of teeth, right? I wanted to talk about Alien, right?
Right.
Who has 2 sets of fucking teeth. That's like the scariest thing about that creature is it's got the mouth that comes out of its mouth, right? Yeah. Yeah.
It's got the inner mouth.
Hang on, hey guys, is Shane really quiet on your end? I think I like accidentally mixed up who's who here. Check 1, check 2. What is going on here? Check 1, check 2. All right, so I think we're okay. We'll see. Chat, let me know if the sound's messed up. I'm experimenting here. So I rewatched Alien. Like I said, from 1979. It's an old movie. Ridley Scott, I believe, directed it, or he was, who directed it? I'll look it up here first. real quick here. But this is a movie that was, if you have not seen, I'm sure everybody here has seen it. Like, there's no way that everybody hasn't seen this movie here. Who's listed as the director? I believe, yeah, Ridley Scott. Story by Dan O'Bannon. Yeah, it's got Sigourney Weaver in it, who I think isn't that great, but we'll talk about that. Yeah, it was just a tremendous film. I went back and I watched it, and I haven't watched it for a few years. You know, I've always loved the movie, but it's one of those movies that, oh man, it's a great movie, but it kind of like falls to the wayside, and you don't really see, because it doesn't get played on TV a whole lot.
Yeah.
So, and I don't really watch TV, so even if it did get played on TV, I would never really catch it. It's one of them films that kind of like, it's like regarded as but you don't really pick it up and put it back in. This last time that I picked it up and I put it back in was like, it was really special. Excuse me, because I haven't seen it in a long time. Number one. Number two, it was very nostalgic for me. Number three, it taught me, it re-immersed me in kind of this age of organic cinema. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Do you remember when you watched it, what the sets look like?
The sets of the film?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. What movies now look like that?
None. And if there are any, they're just attempting to replicate the style of the Alien film. And you're talking about, you know, how Alien isn't a movie that really comes up very often, and it's a film that you know, you watch every so often, and then you put it away and you kind of forget about it. Alien is such a special nostalgic film for me. I still have the original VHS, and the original VHS of Alien is how I prefer to watch the movie, with like the grainy strips of static that jump and skitter across the screen.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of depth to the nostalgia of the film.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, I do too. I love the sound that comes from the VHS. I love the texture on the screen with the tracking. You know what I mean?
Yes,
It does the tracking.
yes.
I love that.
Technicolor.
Yeah, and I love that it's square
Yeah.
for some reason. I don't know why. I just do. So, rewatching. Let me see. Is that me or is that you? I'm like, check. That's me. Okay, I'm the first one. Shane's the second one. I've been adjusting myself, thinking it's you. So I'm sorry, everybody, for say something for me real quick.
Check 1, check 2.
Okay, good enough. So, Wolf Shield says, Alien is better than Aliens. Yeah,
Of course.
That's not. Come on, dog. Like, yeah, what a hot take there, Wolf Shield. Yeah. So I rewatched it, and besides the VHS, I didn't. Unfortunately, I don't have it on VHS. I didn't watch it on VHS. I streamed it, unfortunately. But I rewatched it, and I really was blown away at how beautiful this movie was.
And it really stands up to like the ages.
It does.
It still holds that magic after all these years.
And I think that's because you watch this movie, the sets are really sets. There's no CG, zero.
Yeah.
Zero CG. They built everything. Every hallway, every door, every
detail is immaculately crafted.
Exactly. Well, I don't know about immaculate. I think.
Well, I mean, everything was saturated in atmosphere.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be perfect or entirely believable, because the entire set played together so cohesively that they still pulled the atmosphere off.
Yeah. There's like one part. Now, this is such a minor detail, so you might not remember this, but there was one part. What was his name? The guy that turned out to be a robot.
Bishop? The android?
Was it Bishop or was it? It was a B. I can't remember his name. The android guy.
Yeah.
So there's one point where they're like, let us in, and Bishop, I can't remember, it was Bishop or maybe it was Sigourney Weaver, sits down and sits at a computer, and this computer desk is supposed to be automatic, like extends out or whatever, but you can tell that there's people behind the wall that are physically pushing it, because it kind of like janks sideways a little bit, and it's a little janky, but like and I know that. Like I watching them, like that's funny because I know somebody's probably behind there pushing that. But some like first time watching the movie, you're like, wow, this is like really archaic, futuristic kind of shit.
Yeah, and that sort of jankiness played into
Ash.
Ash, yes, that's right. Thank you. That sort of jankiness played into the atmosphere itself because the whole Aliens film is sort of this iconic genre of its own, this sort of retro 80s-esque sci-fi horror, where even though these people are aboard these spacecraft out in the vacant depths of space, they're still on board these ships that have these computer monitors with these pixelated green texts going across the screen, and like shit that spews steam out of it when it opens.
Yeah.
So I feel like that jankiness sort of just adds to that.
Yeah, I love like the
Yes, that the sound of the keys being typed, I can vividly hear it inside of my mind still to this day. It's one of my favorite sounds.
I love it. It's so great. It's so great. I love the room that the one dude goes and walks and sits in. He's like, what are my chances? It's like, don't not confused or whatever it says on the screen, right?
Yeah.
I love that, the way that room looks with all the weird. It's probably just like Christmas lights behind like a wall with holes drilled in it.
Oh yeah.
But it looks so cool. But you said something a few minutes ago. You said how Alien as a movie. Oh, excuse me. Just ate like 2 hoagies. We just had hoagies before we came up here.
So many hoagies.
So many hoagies. So what was I going to say? That it created a genre.
Yeah.
Like sci-fi horror was a thing from then on.
Yeah. It was a trendsetter in that regards.
And did you know that when it came out, it did kind of shitty?
No, I had no idea. Obviously, it came out long before I was born.
Yeah. Yeah. Our boy, Arkham Reporter's in the house. Our boy Damien. I love that guy. Retrofuturism, awesome art style, he says. That's right. So Alien came out about the same time. 1 second. There were other like alien movies that were coming out at this time, and people didn't really like Bad Guy Aliens. Bad Guy Aliens was kind of an old-timey pulp thing.
Yeah.
You know, it was not at that time, a period in time in like the late 70s into the 80s, people wanted, I just brought up E.T., right? People wanted the nice aliens that come into Earth to be friends with us. And, you know,
the family-friendly extraterrestrials.
Yeah, exactly. And not saying that there weren't like bad guy alien movies, there still were, but that was like, you know, the big box office stuff. They wanted nice guy aliens, right? They didn't really want these like horrors from outer space, because at this point, when you're coming into the 80s, it's like, we've already launched rocket ships up there. Kind of the mystique of space is gone a little bit.
Fading.
Yeah.
You remember that Abomination Mac and Me?
No.
No, it was like a direct E.T. ripoff. It was a terrible movie.
Mac and Me?
Mac and Me, yeah.
Oh, that sounds gay.
It was terrible.
No, I never heard. What was that? There's another one that was kind of an E.T. movie. I can't remember. I'm like picturing it in my. It doesn't matter. But there was like so many of these kinds of movies, like kid befriends lost alien kind of Disney kind of crap. So it's like Alien, the first one, was kind of like the only other one that was kind of out at that time that was sort of in the same vein was Predator. That's not really. It wasn't really the same thing.
No. Predator is its own entire entity.
It was like an action movie.
Yeah. Predator is definitively an action movie.
Yeah.
I mean, they put fucking Schwarzenegger in it.
And who is the black guy?
I have no idea what.
Was
his
that
name
Danny
is.
Glover?
Yeah, I think. I think
Danny Glover. Yeah. Whatever. How's his voice? He's like, he got one of them kind of. He's got one of them voices. Danny Glover.
He's bleeding into Fat Albert.
I was
I'm just picturing Predator with Fat Albert.
hey. Get your alien ass. I actually have no idea how Danny Glover sounds. That was just something I made up in my head. Yeah. So anyway, going back to Uh, yeah. Carl Weathers. I don't know who that is, bud. That's probably the guy we're talking about. I'm saying he's Danny Glover. Harold says he thinks it's Samuel L. Jackson or Will Smith.
It's probably both of them alternating throughout the film.
We just can't tell. I mean, you don't know. Damn, pull the fast one. Got us again. This chair. I have this janky. I have this janky desk chair. My wife was so kind. I was like, my old chair that I had was just terrible. It was hurting me so bad. So my wife goes on Facebook Marketplace and gets me a nice computer chair, or what she thought was a nice computer chair for real cheap. The guy that sold it to us, one of the screws on the side that holds the armrest in broke off. So instead of fixing it, he put like a piece of metal in there, like a nail or a screw or something, and then just put the cap back on.
Fucking chiseler.
What a charlatan. So the first time that I'm running a show on this chair, and it is not anywhere on, so you guys can go look for it. It does not exist anymore. So good luck. My first show, I'm just running with my new chair. I'm leaning back and it pops out and I fall and my headphones fly off like fucking Rock'em Sock'em robots. And only thing on the screen was my feet sticking up in the air. My flags that I had in the backdrop got ripped down. It was a disaster. It was a crash.
Cartoon.
It was like a fucking cartoon. The people I'm on air with are dying, laughing, and all this kind of shit. It was so embarrassing. So you guys no longer have access to that, and that's intentional. So yeah. So anyway, back to Alien. Alien is just there's a lot kind of going on with it philosophically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Give me some of your hot takes on it.
On Alien?
Excuse me, on Alien.
Like what?
I don't know. What are your takes? Do you have any hot takes?
Well, like I said, I think that Aliens was sort of the first of its kind.
Yeah. And
it was sort of solely responsible for ushering in this age of, like you said, sci-fi horror, where it opened the door for a different kind of alien feature. And what they did with the xenomorph in Aliens was so utterly terrifying that it was difficult for the people that made films afterwards to compete with it. I mean, think about it. Everything about the xenomorph is completely fucked, from the mouth within a mouth to the translucent teeth and the spear-like tail to the absolutely corrosive blood. It was a perfectly designed creature to be absolutely horrendous and indestructible.
Yeah. So what's his name? Dan O'Bannon, I think his name was, the guy that wrote it. He was actually working on that. It was originally called Star Beast. The film was originally called Star Beast before it was called Alien. And he was very, very heavily influenced by the old school pulps. And I'm sure people that are into the old school pulps will recognize these kinds of insects from space, the human termites, things that crop up out of the ground or fall from space or whatever. This idea of a parasitic alien getting into some spaceship is a very old pulpy idea, right? This is something that was going on in the dime novels for quite a few decades. And Dan O'Bannon was just a pulp maniac. He loved these old school sci-fi tales, right? So he wanted to bring it to the big screen because it never really got brought to the big screen in a way that he wanted to do. And he got hooked up with H.R. Geiger. Right, H.R. Geiger. Yeah, and he drew all the concept art for it. And this movie, they shopped it around. Nobody wanted it, and they finally got picked up by a director named Ridley Scott, who cleaned it all up. He said, guys, Star Beast is a terrible name. We're going to call it Alien. About a third of this crazy shit you guys want. Unfortunately, we got to slim it down and come back to Earth because the original script to Alien, which was called Star Beast, was ridiculous. It had so much in there that was just not possible for the time. So Ridley Scott brought it back down to Earth, and they created just the textures, the color palettes of this. The color palettes of Alien are not exactly too far off of this era. It very much is in that era. If you put a scene from Alien next to a scene from Exorcist, next to a scene of John Carpenter's The Fog, next to a scene from The Thing, next to whatever, these all of these movies have that blue, foggy glow to them and that eeriness and the synth sounds, and they all have this similar kind of vibe that we now associate with horror. When we see that blue, glowy fog and we hear the, it's like, it's time to get scared, right? We associated that with that now. But so they came out with this movie, and rewatching it, I was just like blown away at the detail of these sets. They literally like went on and like even like the smallest little corners of the sets, they put little keypads and fucking little hatches and this and that. But it looked like a place where people live.
Yeah, and they were incredibly immersive sets.
Yeah.
They're rewatching the movies and watching the people of the what was the ship called?
Nostromo.
Yeah, the Nostromo. Watching them traverse like the steel grate floors and the off-white panels. Yeah, it evokes a feeling, you know, of being there.
Yeah.
It has its own unique ambiance and atmosphere.
Yeah. So if you guys have not seen Alien, or if you've not watched Alien in a long time, you have to go back and rewatch it.
And just so it's on the record, I kind of like the name Star Beast.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. It's a really cool name. They probably should have went with Star Beast. I don't know.
I mean, for the time, I think Aliens was a better decision, but in hindsight, Star Beast sounds rad as hell.
So, moving on, since we wanted to talk about, we just wanted to jerk off about how much we love Alien. You recommended a film to me.
Here we go.
This is objective, right? This is objective. You recommended a film to me, starring Jennifer Lawrence and some Hispanic guy. Michelle Pfeiffer's in there. That other old bald guy. There's some star power in this movie. It's called Mother with an exclamation mark. It's done by what's his name, Aronofsky or something like that.
I have no idea.
Aronofsky. He also did The Wrestler. I don't know if you ever saw that. It had what's his balls in it. The guy that now has the same face as Joan Rivers' dead body. He looks like Ronald McDonald got stung by bees now. Like he was like a young, handsome guy and then got a bunch of Botox, and now he looks like
he looks like a bloated corpse.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like if they did another Godfather movie and fished Fredo's body out. He looks like Fredo's remains.
Distended and tumified.
What's his name? I gotta look him up now. Everybody, what's his name? The guy from The Wrestler. He's in a lot of Mickey Rourke.
Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So The Wrestler had Mickey Rourke in it. He did a bunch of movies that people recognize. He's kind of known as his avant-garde, experimental kind of filmmaker. This movie, like I said, it's called Mother. Shane, can you give us an overview of what the plot of Mother is?
Yeah, a brief synopsis of Mother is about a husband and wife living in the family home of the husband, who is a famous poet who's been suffering from an extended period of writer's block and hasn't been able to write anything of worth in some time. Some visitors show up, some sinister shenanigans ensue, and eventually the husband and wife find out that after years of trying, they have finally become pregnant with child. And this pregnancy sparks inspiration in said poet, and he writes a poem. This poem gets published and turns out to be such a spectacular masterpiece of a poem that fans begin to, I think the word pilgrimage would be appropriate here, to make a pilgrimage to their home to see him. And slowly, as more and more fans amass, a cult rises and descends into absolute madness.
So, you recommended this film to me because you said this is like in your top 5 favorite film. You said it's a masterpiece in your top 5 favorite films of all time, right?
Yes, I thoroughly enjoy this film.
So I watched it. Shane recommended it to me. I watched it so we could talk about it on the show here. And I would say it is objectively in my top 5 biggest pieces of shit ever made. I hated this. I couldn't have hated this movie more. All
right, let's get into it.
So let's get into it. So first of all, I hate the entire movie. It's like extremely slow. It's a snooze. It's 2 hours long.
It does take a very long time to start getting interesting.
It is completely disjointed. It is schizophrenic.
Yes.
The pacing is bizarre.
Yes.
I'm
starting to think that all the reasons you hate this movie are the reasons I like it.
So possibly, none of the dialogue really makes sense, right? There's zero exposition to even explain any. And I'm a kind of guy that is a show don't tell kind of guy. I don't like screens full of exposition and everything. I like it to be, implied, and nothing is implied. It's just kind of completely, you're just thrown into this very frustrating, disjointed, slow moving. It's like everything that I hate in a movie. So I watch this movie, and Shane can tell you, I was like complaining to him.
Yeah, I had to consistently egg you on to finish the fucking movie.
Yeah, if it wasn't for this the show, I would have turned it off at 20 minutes. I literally turned it off probably 5 times, and then Shane bullied me into finishing it. So I was like, he's like, "Oh, you're already this far, you might as well finish it." I was like, "Okay." He's like, "It's about to ramp up," and then 30 minutes it doesn't ramp up. I was like, "Dude, this is getting so quick." He's like, "Don't worry, it ramps up." And then it doesn't ramp up. And then at the end, there's a bunch of discombobbled nonsense. And then it fucking ends. So this movie, I after I got done watching it, I hated it, right? I hated the whole delivery of the movie. And then it clicked for me. At the very end, there's one piece of dialogue, right? After he blows up, he's carrying her. And she says, "What are you?" Remember? What are you? And he goes, "I am I." That's what he says.
Yeah.
And then it clicked for me. This whole thing is a big, stupid fucking metaphor.
It is a big metaphor, yeah.
It has, and then it finishes, and then I go back and I'm going through it in my mind. This is another thing that I hate in movies. I hate movies that are entirely a metaphor. If what I am watching is a symbol of something else that's not in the movie, that drives me insane. It's like, why should I care about this character if it's just a representation? Why should I care about this event if it's just representing something else that I have to fucking figure out? Show me the movie. Show me a story in of itself, not a fake. So what it does is it's like, oh yeah, all that dialogue that didn't make sense. It just didn't. The dialogue itself didn't matter because it was a symbol you're supposed to figure out. So I went back and I thought about it. This entire movie is just biblical symbolism mixed with Jewish Gnosticism kind of stuff. that Arnolfsky guy is very of that. He's got a big
Go
nose.
on.
He's got a big nose. So
Oy vey.
so, but that's not all that it is. It is literally a Gnostic representation. So I'm thinking back. The poet is the demiurge. The woman, Jennifer Lawrence, is the Sophia Earth Mother in Gnosticism, right? He is God. He creates. She, if you remember during the movie, and is this anything new or is this stuff you already figured out?
I'm with you.
Okay. So throughout the whole movie, she like, and it shows like a heart beating or getting deader or whatever. She is the house, and the house is a metaphor for earth or material reality, right? God, who is the guy who is the writer, the creator, right? He is the writer of reality. He gives to her a son, right? That is the Christ, right? That is Jesus. So he writes this stuff. He writes it, and throughout the whole movie, there's other symbolism in there that seemed a little bit disjointed. Like there's Exodus symbolism. If you didn't notice, like remember the frog? She goes in the basement. There's a frog that hops out.
Mhm.
That's one of the plagues in Egypt.
Mhm.
There's the point where the brother murders the other brother, Cain and Abel, right?
Yeah.
The blood sinks down. It goes around the thing. That's the blood going over the houses in Egypt for Exodus. There's like dead bugs on the ground that it just flashes for a second. That's the locust. It's just like over. There's like one part, some dude's got like boils on him, disease. And then and then it goes on. And then when he gives his poetry to the masses, that is world religion. And then it shows, it's like this big shot at world religion saying that mankind is driven to irrational and crazy and violent behavior because of religion. And then he gives Jesus to them. They rip him apart. And that scene, which I'm going to tell you guys, I can't stand in movies where kids get hurt.
It was the best. I loved watching them rip that baby apart.
Yeah. God. I when like I was so upset. The scene where they were like they're crowd surfing the baby and it's screaming and the neck snaps.
Yeah.
I was like very upset.
I know from the text you sent me.
I was really upset. I was like, what the fuck is this? This shit is sick. Because I'm a dad. I got babies. I don't want to see babies die. That makes me crazy. I think that should be against the rules in movies. No hurting kids in movies. Don't even. I know what you're.
I think all movies should involve hurting children.
No. No. They shouldn't. But anyway, so going back, that scene is a sign. It's like they're all eating the baby, right?
Yeah.
That is like what's that called?
Communion.
Yeah. They're doing communion. They're the blood of Christ.
Yeah.
They're eating the blood of Christ. And then she goes nuts and starts stabbing people, and she dies. And he's like, I am I, and you're already home. You're already home because you are the earth. She is the earth, right? It's this whole big thing of the demiurge, the Gnostic, like God the Father and the Earth Mother Sophia, and their relationship and creating man. And there's a whole bunch of other stuff too that I kind of thought of, but that happens. And then what was the last? So he takes her heart out, right? And he puts it on the thing and then recreates with another. What do the Catholics call? Is there any Catholic guys in the chat? What's it called? What's it called when the creation? Ex nihilo. Is that right? Next nihilo? Ex nihilo or something like
I have no idea.
I have no idea either. So that's another. It's just like a complete metaphor for like biblical stuff, and there's just like a bunch of symbolism in there. And at the end, overall, I think it is a try-hard, gobbledygook, mixed up symbolism of just like some. I don't know. I just hated it.
So I can tell that you've really dissected this and put like a lot of time into this.
Yes.
So I know that you're not going to like what I'm about to say.
Just say it. I'm going to hate it. Say it.
I didn't give a shit about the metaphor at all. I liked I separated the film from metaphor and viewed it from just a solely cinematic perspective, and I enjoyed the pacing. I enjoyed the slow burn that led to an explosive conclusion. Because listen, if you separate all the metaphor and innuendo out of the film, and you just view it independently as a story being told, I really enjoyed that.
Okay. You're certainly allowed to have your opinion.
Am I?
I don't know. We'll see.
Thanks, Dad.
Thanks, Dad. Arkham says, speaking of alien and symbolism, Prometheus, that film is so bull, in my opinion. What do you guys think about it? Quick. Damien, I loved Prometheus. I actually thought it was a great film.
I liked Prometheus. I didn't like it as much as I enjoyed Aliens.
Oh, no.
Compared to Aliens, Prometheus felt try hard to me.
So Prometheus, I could see why somebody would be like, oh, great, another origin story. Blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it is kind of like a forced origin story.
It was an origin story that we didn't need.
Yeah.
Is what it comes down to.
You're right. You're right. We didn't need it. I love the Alien universe. And I just was happy that there was like a half decent Alien movie.
Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It was enjoyable to watch. It was captivating and it held my attention. And the plot was, mediocre. It just, when you make a prequel to a film, there's almost the intent to better the original. And they just didn't do that at all.
No, they did.
They couldn't.
And they reused a lot of the same tropes.
Yeah.
The instead of just like the face hugger, it was that weird
ferro fluid ooze.
It had another like type of slithery creature that jumped and got on some guy's face.
Oh yeah.
It was just like another one of that. They reused the scene of the seat with the telescope or whatever sticking out, which in the first Alien, like that was like, you know what I mean?
I did like the giant uber extraterrestrial super white chads.
Yeah, the Indo-Europeans. Yeah. So that was like it was a mixed bag. It was a mixed bag.
Yeah.
I didn't think I thought visually it was true. Like it had that very nice H.R. Geiger. Like
they killed that.
Yeah, it looked nice. It's just the interior plots. There was another android that got his head ripped off and was brought back to.
You know what? As you mentioned the androids, it brings up an interesting topic. I feel like the androids added another layer of uncanny horror to the Aliens movie because they were very weird in that movie with their milk blood.
Yeah.
It was uncomfortable, the androids, especially when I was a kid watching the androids and them just like being torn asunder and still like twitching and speaking in hitching phrases. It was very uncanny.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I think that too. Well, shout out. We got Grimdark half off in the chat. We got us. All 5 of our viewers, like 3/5 of them are heavy hitters. We got our boy Arkham Reporter, Grimdark half off. We got like all the celebs of based fiction storytelling in the house. Yeah.
Welcome aboard.
Welcome. Well, and if you guys aren't subscribed to these two guys, Grimdark half off and Arkham Reporter, they are literally like my 2 favorite YouTube channels in regards to like pulp fiction and like fiction. And
absolutely.
So, Arkham Reporter does all the Lovecraft stuff. He's our Lovecraft expert. Grimdark half off does all the Conan stuff. So Dude, I have been. It sounds like these are my two favorite guys. I mean, I got them together. That's so great. So you guys definitely got to go subscribe to those two guys. I have been Grimdark Half Off recently. He popped up in my chat, and I was like, I didn't hear about him before, and I was like, he asked a question in the chat, and I thought he was like, I just thought it was a funny name, Grimdark Half Off, right? I just thought it was funny, and I was like, oh wow, that's a cool name. So I just clicked on it, and he's got this like big, huge, awesome channel full of like playlists where he does deep dives of Conan lore, and I was like, yes, the treasure has been found. Yeah. So I just
like
really
everything you've ever looked for.
yeah. Arkham says we need a Clark Ashton Smith bro to join the cult. Oh yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah. So me and Grimdark, hit me up on Telegram or somewhere. Let's get on a dude. Me, you, and like we should do a show with you guys together and us, like a Grimdark Half Off, Arkham Reporter, like Weird Tales.
That'd be a hell
round table. That would be so based. That would be so based. So yeah, guys, let's make it happen. So anyway, speaking of weird fiction, we talked about film, and we talked about kind of like the horror of sci-fi horror and a little bit of like the cosmicism and the uncanniness of the androids, and then we talked about kind of the weirdness of you feel that Mother is a good example of modern psychological horror.
Yes.
Even though I shit all over it.
It's very artsy fartsy. I will admit, it's not for everyone.
Yeah, it's pretty artsy fartsy and definitely not for me. But I'll tell you what, visually it was a very visually impressive movie, and there was a lot of like good cinematography. It wasn't just like a cheapo amateur thing. It's just, number one, I'm super ADD, and number two, I really hate things that are overcomplicated, and number three, it was just like very frustrating that there's these people that kept coming into the house and they just wouldn't leave or listen.
Yeah, I realized all these things after I recommended the film for you, and I was like, he's gonna hate it.
Yeah. Yeah. So moving on to literatures, supernatural horror and literature. You have a book coming out. It's going to drop in the next few weeks, which you've been working on for about a year.
Yes,
so
for a year.
It is a novella.
Yes.
It is called The Molybdus Articulate.
Correct.
So me and Shane are boys. We hang out all the time. We talk all the time. I've been like with him in his creative process doing this story. This was originally a story that I wanted him to get into Bizarcast 2 with, like 2 issues ago. Like it was something I was crap. No, here we go. Okay.
I took my sweet ass time writing it.
Yeah. So he was going to write a short story, and then it turned into this big long novella. And let me tell you guys, it turned out pretty darn good. And our boy, speaking of Arkham Reporter, he did the editing on it and wrote us a foreword for it. So it's
what a legend.
Yeah, he's
shout
a
out to Arkham Reporter.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Mr. Damien there. Yo, this is I think that this story is like going to be your story, and the Cosmic Horror double feature out of the Bizarcast are going to be like, if it doesn't make a big stamp, it is going to be a big banner saying we are the guys that are doing weird fiction right.
Yeah. One can only hope.
So tell us about Molybdus Articulate.
Oh, the Molybdus Articulate has been a passion project of mine for about a year now. I started it last year. I think it was originally intended to be originally supposed to be released along Halloween. Yeah, and it was supposed to be released alongside Cuthbertson's Dredge. That was the original plan for the double feature.
Yep.
But I dragged my feet on it, and I was being a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to the story. But the Molybdus Articulate is a cosmic horror story that follows a 1930s noir detective on a case to track down an obscure item mentioned in a journal purchased from an estate sale a number of years prior, that leads him to this secluded little town that's not on any maps, and along the way he encounters many strange and bizarre occurrence that ultimately leads to a climactic encounter beyond anything mankind was ever intended to reckon with.
Yeah, that's a pretty good summation there. So the Molybdus Articulate, Shane is a very Lovecraftian style of writer. Use a lot of the archaic language, very verbose, right? Some guys from like the modern school of writing would say that it call it purple prose, which I think that's I don't know. I don't like that because I get pretty purple at times, and I love the purpleness of.
I like purple.
It's a good color.
Yeah.
It's the color of royalty. Yeah,
Sure.
it's the color of snails. Yeah. So I'm really excited to get it out there because I don't think outside of Cuthbertson's double feature, is there another cosmic horror this visceral, right?
Right.
You and Cuthbertson are putting out cosmic horror that is actually horrible. Not horrible as in poorly written, but horrible as in instills horror and terror.
Yeah.
You know, I read the first time I read when Cuthbertson sent me the double feature, the first story from the double Dredge. I was like, this is the secret sauce.
Mm-hmm.
And then he follows up with the Presswick's Project, and I was like, this is the secret sauce.
Double feature's phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I honestly, Molybdus would not have been written or even started without you pressuring me to do cosmic horror.
Yeah.
I would have never thought to do so. And you pushed me into doing it. And it is like a genuine honor to have a cosmic horror story stand up beside AC's double feature.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people that every single person that gets the double feature that hits me up later is like, I was not expecting that. Like they're like it. I know it's not intended to be like belittling or anything even close to that, but they're like, oh man, I wasn't expecting something that good. Yeah, and same thing with the Bizarcast. Like, I was expecting something that good because it's like indies. Like indies is a mixed bag.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. A lot of times indies you get some guys that aren't. I hate like putting anybody down when it comes to writing. There you get people that are on the way up.
Yeah,
I guess you could say.
Yeah,
you get stories that are stronger than others, right? We at the Bizarchives are like so blessed that we have so many strong writers.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh man. So as far as Bizarchives, who are some of the other writers that you like? If you could think of them off the top of your head.
Obviously, I'm a slut for Lovecraft.
No, I mean the guys that are writing in Bizarchives.
Oh, in Bizarchives?
Yeah.
Obviously, Cuthbertson
is
awesome. Who else can I think of off the top of my head? Wolfshield's in there, right?
No,
Wolfshield
does films, bub.
Who was it that you mentioned? Someone recently had a story in there. Fuck, I don't know.
There's a lot of stories in there.
Sorry, Wolfshield. Off the top of my head.
Can you remember story names?
Who wrote Dune Lord's Dreaming?
M.S. Jones.
M.S. Jones, yeah. Dune Lord's Dreaming was phenomenal. It was the story pertaining to the bizarre creature that got woken up, told from its point of view.
Oh, you're talking Byron, Gordon Byron.
What was that story called?
Shot at Redemption.
Yes, I very much enjoyed that story.
Yeah, that was a sleeper.
That was a weird, very bizarre tale.
Yeah, that was strange. That was a sleeper in there.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that one. I think he's got one coming up in the next one too. He does like really weird, abstract science fiction. I love the way that he writes. It's not for everybody. It's an acquired taste, but it's.
Oh, and of course, Tanner's Gold.
Mark Cuthbert. Yeah,
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
Everybody, all the horror guys love Cuthbert. So, yeah, he's great. There's just there's so many. Like I published them, so I don't want to like go off naming because I already know who.
Oh, and I mean, I'm on your show. How could I not mention all the fucking badassery and hypermasculinity that is Lex?
Oh, Lex. Well, I'm glad you like Lex, bud. I'm glad you like that. I really like Lex isn't going to be in the next one. I don't think.
No?
I think I'm going to do a sci-fi.
Good.
I have a sci-fi.
I enjoy
one
your
coming.
sci-fi stories.
Thank
It's
you.
a great deal.
Thank you. You liked what was my one in the first Bizarcast? They never woke up.
They never woke up. Yes.
Yeah, you like that
Yes,
one.
that is a phenomenal story.
Thank you. It's really short.
It's really short, but the ending is incredible.
I literally wrote that story just so I could have that ending.
I loved it. Yeah. I remember when you finished it, you read it to me, and it was awesome.
Thank you, sir. So let's talk about you. I don't talk about me.
Let's talk about me.
Let's talk about me. So, Molybdus Articulate. A lot of your writing style in there is it's very Lovecraftian, but it's not a lot. I've noticed that a lot of the kind of like Lovecraft writers that came later worked really hard to try to sound like Lovecraft. You don't try to sound like Lovecraft. You sound like you.
Yeah. I try to utilize a lot of alliteration in my writing, so that when it's read, it sounds almost like you're reading prose.
Yeah.
I want there to be art within the art.
Yeah, I like that. That's dope. And one thing that you do is that you have this, it's not purely cosmic horror because you read Lovecraft.
Yes.
And Lovecraft is like it's a very purely psychological. You go hard with the gore.
In some ways, yes.
Body horror.
Yes. I feel that body horror and cosmic horror go hand in hand with each other, especially when it comes to forces beyond our understanding and our feeble mortal existence and how easily twisted and corrupted it could be from something beyond us.
But I feel like there are certain scenes where you wrote them, you're like, this isn't weird enough, and then you make it weirder.
You gotta go full bore.
There's one scene, and I don't mean to spoil it, but there's one scene where your character, what's his name?
Edmund Jameson.
Where Edmund goes, I'm not gonna say where because it, whatever, but he comes across this. I don't want to say too much, but there is a guy that has a weird cephalopod beak.
Yes.
So he has to come into contact with this guy who opens his normal mouth.
Yes.
A cephalopod beak comes out, right? Tries to eat his arm. And not only is that weird, he gets his arm in there. Excuse me. Not only does it try to eat his arm, but the inside of his body somehow also creates like necrosis.
Yes.
So he pulls his arm out of the cephalopod mouth that's inside the human mouth, inside of this weird guy's body. And his arm is decaying and necrotic now.
Correct.
You wrote that, and it bit his arm, and you're like, not weird enough.
No, it wasn't weird enough.
Let's make this weirder.
Well, it comes down to like trying to wrap your mind around the unimaginable.
Yeah.
What could a human being twisted by forces unfathomable look like?
Yeah.
What would it be capable of? And no matter how weird or strange or bizarre you get, you're never going to come close to actually describing the true grotesquerie of what you'd be encountering.
Yeah.
So in that regards, the sky's the limit.
Yeah. I love it. I can't get enough of that.
Thank you.
I can't get enough of that. Another thing, we were talking about Cuthbertson, but he in his Presswick's project.
Yes.
There's one part, and sorry for the spoilers, guys, but there's a part where like everything's. I'm not gonna give you too much about the story. There's a part where like everything's going nuts, and there are these like humanoid like sort of entity creatures. Like they were once humans, but they've been changed by this weird dimensional overlap that had to do with vibrational planes or some stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they were literally these like skin balloons with like stretched out faces on them and tentacles and like it was like these. And I was like, it's just like,
yeah, you gotta eat that shit up.
it's just like, it's just, you get this weird excitement from it, you know?
Yeah. It's like, how far can the human mind twist humanity?
Yeah. Mockery of nature.
Exactly.
Yeah. Because especially guys like us that believe very like deeply in like the order of nature and like are very comforted by this idea that nature is ordered.
Yeah.
This idea that nature has our back and yeah, there might be like, you know, catastrophes or whatever, there are things that go wrong.
But there's a cohesion.
There's a cohesion. It makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. So for those of us that look around in nature, look around in reality and see order and see things that make sense, when we read cosmic horror, it's like this like weird space. You know,
out the window.
it's out the window. You're
Yeah.
like, you're like thrown. You're like ah.
You just thrust so far out of your comfort zone.
You just get thrusted.
You get so thrusty.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think that's because I've noticed the people that really get excited about cosmic horror are people like us that like look around their reality and they see order. They see they don't see chaos. Chaos is something that is unnatural to them.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Our boy Grim Dark Half Off says, Dave Martell, given that classic weird fiction in America was built around a high trust society, do you guys plan on writing in each other's canon similar to Smith, Howard, Lovecraft circles?
Oh, I don't see why not. That'd certainly be interesting. I don't know if I could be trusted with Lex.
Well, you could write something in Grim Earth.
I could.
In
Yes.
Lex's world, and I could write something with the Primordial Barons.
Yes, you certainly could.
think
I
we-
would be very interested to see what you turn out in my budding little universe of horrors.
Yeah. So Shane, speaking of that, yeah, Grimdark, we could definitely do that. You know, in fact, me and Cuthbertson actually talked about like Lex and Corlor meeting at some point.
I would like to see that.
Maybe they fight.
That would be an epic fight.
Yeah. Lex would kick his ass. Lex was
Against the wizard?
against the wizard. He would bust his cheeks wide open.
I don't know.
He would knock his nugget, bud.
That reminded me of Tender.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna let you in on our new. Earlier we went to my dad. We helped my dad. My dad is starting to get old, so we helped him build a pool that he's not going to use. So we went to his house and we helped him build this pool in the ripping heat, and we got terribly sunburned. But when we were there, Shane came up with this idea of this like brilliant, like new enterprise. Like we're gonna be millionaires off this idea.
Absolutely.
Tell us about this idea.
It's like Tinder,
Mm-hmm.
but it's for chicken nuggets, and it's called Tender.
Yeah.
We're genuinely retarded.
Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, that'd be pop. It's gonna be popular in the hood. It's gonna be popping.
They go the shit busting.
Dang, yo, these nuggets thick as fuck, motherfucker. Dang, baby, yo, they all trying to see them nuggets up in the club. You feel me? It's like, oh damn, nigga. Yo. I can't be saying that. I'm getting a little rowdy. Been in the heat all day.
Shaving out.
Shave. Me and Shane have this thing where because we get together, we get real weird. Like this, you guys have not begun to see our power level yet. Like this is when me and Shane get together, it is maximum weirdness, and we call this entity Shave.
The amalgamate.
It is amalgamation of Shane and Dave together, and it's really weird, and it makes parties and get-togethers kind of awkward.
We end up taking it over.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, what are we talking about? Molybdus.
Molybdus, yes.
Molybdus. So going back to Molybdus, what was the next thing we were going to talk about? So yeah, Molybdus is going to be coming out in the next couple weeks.
Yeah.
And we're going to be dropping that. Speaking of Molybdus, actually here, let's watch the trailer that I made here. All right, that was the little trailer promo that I made for Molybdus there.
I think it's excellent. I love it.
Thank you, sir. I'm pretty limited on what I can do visually. So that's what I got. And I'm still learning. I'm literally learning everything on the fly. When I first started Bizarcast, I had no idea how to do anything except for sorta. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the minimalist design of the trailer suits the story well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought so.
And the chanting is eerie as fuck.
I did that on, I use that a program that comes with Mac.
Jesus.
I just did it it's like all my voice. And I have my MIDI board here where I just play two.
One of those voices sounds just like a woman.
I can make a woman voice.
Let's hear it.
I can't do it right now.
Please.
No, I'm in my radio voice mode. I can't just switch it like that.
Oh.
And plus, I'm not like a circus monkey. I can't really do it on command.
Samurai.
Yeah. I also have a samurai impression that I do. I'm not gonna do it right now. It's got to be organic. I can't just draw it up. It makes it weird. It feels weird.
You're no fun.
Yeah.
Give the people what they want.
Give the people what they want. Maybe I'll do the samurai. Some other guys. Don't get too excited about it. It's a really stupid impression.
It's very good.
It's they're gonna be expecting this world class performance.
It's incredible. It'll make you weep dove milk.
Is it like milk from the brand Dove, or is it milk from doves?
It's milk from doves.
How do doves milk?
I guess you'd wring them out
because they don't have mammaries. Wait, do birds have mammaries?
I I don't think so.
No, they're not. Mammals.
So we're gonna have to
mammaries.
genetically alter.
I mean, chickens have breasts.
It's not the same. We're gonna have to genetically modify doves to have teats, and then we're gonna have to milk them.
Yeah, and then we have to drink so much that we cry the milk from our ducts.
I make my own dove milk.
You just put them in a wine press.
I excrete it.
So the Bingle says, "What? LOL. Birds are not mammals." Grimdark says, "Very nice trailer. Gives me R.W. Chambers plus Hammer horror vibes."
Ooh, very nice.
Very nice. Very good compliment. Thank you, Mr. Grimdark. I appreciate you, my friend. So, there are mammals that I wonder why we don't drink their milk.
Such as
Dolphins.
Wait, can you milk a dolphin?
They're mammals. They got mammaries. Let's drink their milk.
We're gonna have to get our hands on one.
Let's drink some dolphin milk.
Okay.
And then there's like ones, but dolphins are a little bit like there's like some,
I don't know. I've never seen a dolphin with tits.
They got like envelopes that flap. They got like flaps over them.
Got mammary folds.
Yeah, yeah. It's like
Behold my mammalian fold.
my mammalian manifold. Yeah, they got it got covered. It wouldn't be, what's that, hydrodynamic? Otherwise, they'd be like flapping in the sea when they're swimming real fast. It would drag them down. They'd be like anchors. They can't be having. So they evolved to have,
folds.
yeah.
Hydrodynamic
Yeah.
folds.
You're not gonna be seeing
The
like
peak of dolphin engineering.
dolphin engineering. Yeah, I mean, you're not gonna see like some dolphins swimming around swinging heavies. It just ain't it.
Hey, dolphin, nice rack.
Nice milkers. Yeah, it would just not. So they have, it's like behind a thing. I think they have a bunch of them too, and they like retract. They're kind of like
they have multitudinous retractable tits.
Yeah, they're almost like the headlights on an old Corvette.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. But I feel like there are sea mammals that are a little bit more plump, that would have a little bit more milk in them.
Like that sea cow?
Yeah, like a manatee or a beluga. What are them mammals that got the big jaw on their schnoz?
A narwhal?
Yeah.
We gotta get some narwhal milk.
Yeah, we gotta make a narwhal float. Like a root beer float. Not obviously already float.
But with narwhal ice cream?
Yeah. We're on to something here, bud. Tender, watch out. Here comes narwhal floats.
We can sell those too.
I know. Get some on tender. Go with your nuggets.
We could call them tender narwhal floats.
I know. Bro, we are geniuses. You realize this, right?
Yeah, we're real prodigies.
Who was that chess guy that went crazy? We didn't go crazy. He just started like, okay, we can't say it on here. I already said too many bad things.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Okay, don't worry about it. Great White Lobster said he'd buy that for $1. Well, I'm sorry, Mr. Lobster. It would be far more than $1 because this is premium.
Yeah, you know how hard it is to get narwhal milk?
Yeah, you know how hard it is to milk a dolphin?
You got to enter their folds.
I got to get Will DeVito on here to tell his dolphin story one of these days.
Oh my god.
It's hard. It's not horrible. Yeah, Bobby Fischer, the based one. Yeah, Bobby Fischer. Yeah. So yeah, he was the bass chess player. He's like a genius. I'm saying Bobby Fischer, move over. Shave is coming to town. Narwhal milk. Tender. Genius.
Narwhal milk tender.
We're like, this is the future.
Narwhal milk smooth.
Yeah, like Steve Jobs is rising from the grave right now to come like
He's rising from the grave to come,
to come here.
just to come.
Uh,
We can milk Steve Jobs' corpse. He's a mammal.
He's a oh, yes, milk Steve Jobs. He's a mammal.
I'll get down there.
Oh God, this is going off the rails. So okay, so we talked about Molybdus. Oh man, we're like an hour and a half in. Jeez. Jesus Christ. So okay, let's move forward a little bit.
All right.
And the final topic we're going to talk about is horror in film versus horror in literature. So
Right.
the delivery of horror in film versus literature is very, very different.
Yes.
Do you have what do you think about that? How would you explain that?
Well, I think the biggest difference is the huge advantage that film has in that it has a visual representation for all these terrifying things that it's trying to portray. Whereas in literature, you're just describing shit.
Yeah. Which one do you think is more difficult?
To pull off successfully?
Yeah.
Literature.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Especially when it comes to a topic like cosmic horror, because you're describing something indescribable.
Yeah. And you have to conceptually disturb the reader.
Exactly. You have to set tone, atmosphere. Everything is done via word, written on a page. You don't have any suspenseful overtones or synthesizers or cinematic camera angles and jump scares.
Yeah.
You just have words on a page
Yeah.
and the reader's imagination.
Yeah. Exactly. In a movie, you can just scare people. You can literally just like have a scene where it's like, oh my God. Have a fucking monster come out of nowhere. Oh my God, it's scary. You don't have that luxury.
Exactly.
You don't have that luxury in literature. Grimdark says, don't show the monster film versus create a perfectly creepy atmosphere story. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. So in literature, and here's the thing, I actually prefer horror in literature.
Yeah, absolutely.
Why do you prefer horror in literature?
Because if it's executed well, it incites a deeper and much more profound sense of terror than anything any film can evoke, because it's taking place within your own imagination.
I think that now is a perfect time to go back to horror in literature.
Yes.
Because film, we've sort of seen everything.
Yeah.
I don't think that there is a film that can come out that I might not like it. I might find it squeamish. It might shock me or give me like a jump scare or whatever. But film, there like, and this is again, I love horror films, certain horror films. I don't love everything. I'm kind of a horror guy, but I'm like super critical of horror. I'm like one of those like neckbeards that like loves it but hates like 90% of it.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
It's so difficult to find. I mean, how many times have you turned on like Netflix and just spent a half an hour flipping through movies looking for something to watch just to get bored of looking for movies and shut it off?
Yeah.
Like it's so hard to find anything that captivates anymore. It's anything original.
That's why I don't have Netflix anymore.
Yeah.
I got rid of it. And it's like it's not even just because of like the pops and the political garbage and all that stuff. It's literally just not good.
Yeah.
Which to me is like
minimal effort, which is another huge distinction between horror in film and horror in literature, is because any fucking jerk off can shit out a horror movie.
Yeah.
But it takes genuine talent to write a successful horror story.
Yeah. And it's even more for somebody to write a successful horror story and then compose it to film.
Yes,
To do
to
both.
translate a story into film and accurately capture the ambiance of that story in film is something that takes a certain amount of finesse.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I'd
agree with
agree.
you.
I'd agree. So, I would agree with all of that. And like I said before, I think it's a perfect time to get back into, because most people, reading is not their native medium anymore.
No, not anymore.
Their native medium is now film or music or video games, actually.
Yeah.
Video games, number one, actually, is people's most native medium. And then number two is film, TV. People don't like. I would actually put. I don't know why I said music. Music's farther way down.
Yeah, music has fallen far on the ladder of entertainment.
Yeah, like remember earlier we were all sitting together at the table, and I'm just like ranting and raving about how much I love vinyl.
Yeah,
how much I love analog music, and the two Zoomers in the room were like, like they didn't know.
Yeah, they
And
couldn't
then-
relate.
Yeah, your brother was even like, no, digital's just as good.
Yeah,
It's just as good.
because they didn't experience it.
They didn't
They
experience it.
have no means of comparison.
And I think a lot of guys that are Zoomers that would try to turn it on and experience it, they still wouldn't get it, because I think that they don't understand music the way that we understand music.
Yeah, they're not going to be receptive to the nuances either.
Yeah. Grimdark says horror is a deeply spiritual thing to me, and especially with the crowd that writes it today, I think that they're often living out their fantasies through the monster rather than warning people of evil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
based. Yeah. And it's not even like, because you can definitely say that a lot of, especially cosmic horror, is not this cut and dry, there's this force of evil coming after us. It's much more nuanced than that. The entities that are causing the trouble, the antagonists, aren't even necessarily evil.
They're indifferent,
They're indifferent.
which
And-
is far more terrifying.
Yes. It's like, and a lot of times they don't even, like,
They're not even aware.
they're so big.
Yeah.
Like Azathoth in the Cthulhu mythos.
Yeah. So monumental, astronomical in scale.
Yeah.
As to not even be aware of our finite little existences.
Exactly. And to think that, for those of you that aren't familiar, Azathoth in the Cthulhu mythos is kind of like the granddaddy of all of it. He is the creator of all reality, and he sits at the center of the universe. And he is this gigantic, unfathomable mass, right? Typical Lovecraft, this like gigantic mass of just random, right? Of random matter. Eyes and mouths and tentacles and
It's imperceivable.
imperceivable
Yeah.
entity, right? And there are these flute players that play flutes and keep him asleep.
Oh, it's terrifying.
And the idea is that all of reality is just part of Azathoth's dream. And if he ever wakes up, we vanish.
That concept is like a masterpiece of horror.
That's my noise for like weird excitement. Yeah. I don't know.
We gotta get some cameras in here.
I know. we will. We gotta clean this. My attic is my studio, and I haven't really. It's like got like a bunch of crap in it, and then it's got my studio stuff, and we really recently started to renovate it. So we started clearing it out. We moved out a lot of the kind of storage stuff, and we are going to paint it up, and we're gonna put some stuff up here. We're gonna get some cameras and some lights, and it's gonna look like some fucking Joe Rogan kind of shit. And we are going to have me and Shane are gonna be in here. We're gonna be recommending albums. We're gonna be talking about books. You're gonna be hanging out with us.
We're gonna get sweaty.
We're gonna get come get sweaty with us. Come on, Dad, get sweaty.
Come let us sweat on you.
Uh,
Milk me.
We're mammals. Milk our glands. Oh.
Express my glands.
All right, we gotta move on. So, what do we got left to talk about? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Whatever you want.
So,
I'm not particularly helpful.
okay, I think that's about it. We talked about Alien, we talked about Mother, we talked about a lot of different other stuff. We said some weird stuff. We derailed it and brought it back on the rails, and we finished up with horror and literature versus film. And I agree. And it's not just horror, but I think that now is, and we're seeing it, right? Guys that are kind of in the folkish and nationalist spheres. Orion says milking Dave is not based. Just say it.
Have you ever tried it?
Don't knock it till you try it, bud.
Dave Milk is cream of the crop.
Oh yeah, the cream of the crop, and it just don't stop. Oh yeah. So anyway, I think that's about it for this evening. Mr. Shane, guys in the chat, how did Shane do? This is kind of like his first. He's been on my show before, but
I'm definitely not an internet personality.
I think he did good, bud. I think he did real good. Guys, press 9 in the chat if you think Shane did a good job. All 9 of you.
Nobody hits 9. They're crying.
What if you started crying and I just left it on and just was just breathing?
That'd be based.
What's wrong, Dad?
Couldn't cut it, Dad.
We got all 9s. 9. Arkham Reporter 9s. You two have infectious laughter. Hell yeah. I'm glad somebody doesn't think we're weird.
My boys.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's still weird. Little boys.
That was the grossest thing said so far. That was worse than the Steve Jobs.
Steve hand jobs.
I've been awake too long. It's
been a long day.
It's getting
my skin hurts.
It's getting silly. All right, let's shut her down. So, Harold says we're all weird here. Vinkle says over 9,000. Gargoyle. So, where are we at? Guys, Bizarcast. Go over to the Bizarcast.com. This is the Bizarcast official podcast of the Bizarcast. If you like the Bizarcast, you support the Bizarcast. Go buy our books, man. They're all cheap, great price points. $10. They're in and around $10. A couple are 12. Some are even under $10. Go get yourself a copy of some of our books over at Bizarcast.com. It takes links over to Amazon, but you can find them on other retailers. You can go find them on Barnes & Noble. You can find them on Books A Million. You can find them on, I believe they're on on Walmart.com. They're on if you're in Europe, they're on various retailers over there. It's not just on Amazon. It is elsewhere. We just use Amazon as the primary place because that is 80% of the book market. If we're not on Amazon, it screws us. What are you going to say?
And keep your eyes peeled for the Molybdus Articulate.
The Molybdus Articulate is coming up very, very soon. Couple weeks, week or two.
Peel your eyes.
Yeah, peel your eyes and stay frosty. Get frosted.
Peel your thighs.
keep your thighs peeled. All right. So the Bizarcast.com. Follow us on Twitter and Telegram at the Bizarcast. Guys, we have a really cool thing over there. Our Substack is dope. It's not just a regular sub. Everybody's got Substacks now. Our Substack is turbo dope. The Obelisk, it's called. We got so many great writers over there writing articles. We have a guy that's called the Pulp Archivist that does deep dives into these old forgotten pulps and brings them up and talks about them. He talks about Doc Savage. He talks about Zorro. He talks about like all these guys and brings it all back up. Robert E. Howard. We got our boy Arbogast on there. Arbogast, who's in Bizarcast 3, by the way, with a really great story. Arbogast is such a funny, entertaining columnist, writes such good stuff. Check him out over there. Paranormal transmissions. People send in. I haven't really gotten any for a while, but people send in their like little write-ups of their real life eyewitness accounts of paranormal stuff that's on there. The Substack is called theobelisk.substack.com, and if you sign up for it's only $5 a month or just $50 a year, you get free ebooks every single month. These ebooks, just about one of them is $5. You sign up with us, we send you the download link to get like multiple ones a month, right? Some of them are just exclusive. It's all exclusive for the Bizarcast. So if you like Bizarcast stuff, some of the ebooks are available on Amazon. The rest from now on is going to be exclusive to Substack, guys. This podcast is probably going to be over there. We're going to be adding video and everything. So audio of this podcast will be available over on the Substack for premium subscribers. It's only $5. But if you don't want to give us the $5, just sign up for free, man. You get updates. You get stuff. Sometimes I just post articles talking about stuff. You get updates on our books that come out. So we write poetry. We got all kinds of stuff over there. It's just a kind of a hub of a lot of cool, weird fiction stuff. So go get signed up over there. If you're ever interested in writing an article for the Obelisk, hit us up. We actually got a lot of requests to turn the Obelisk into a magazine.
That's not a bad idea.
Yeah, they want to see an Obelisk digest. That wouldn't be too hard to do.
No.
That wouldn't be too hard to do. It'd be like articles and everything. And you know what? I would probably just make it real cheap.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll just give it like a $7 price point.
Yeah,
and just
it's not. It wouldn't be difficult to do.
No, I think
translate well.
Yeah. Let's. Well, I'll think about. I'll put that on the cook. I'll put that on the back burner for cooking, guys. I got a video game coming out, Legends of Hyperborea. Go check that out on Telegram. Updates coming. It's in the works. Shout out Fornal. Shout out Dino. Shout out Arturi Cavella. All working on that. What else do I got in the works? What else am I working on? I have other projects.
BZA 4.
Bizarcast 4. Arbogast has a book coming out. Yeah. We have a young adult title coming out from a guy.
I remember you mentioning that.
We got, what else we got? We got all kinds of stuff coming, guys. Lots and lots and lots of good stuff. So I also have a tabletop game I've been working on. Yeah. I'm not coming out with that anytime soon, though. We're still working on that. So anyway, guys, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Grimdark says, do I take submissions through email? You guys that want to submit stories for the Bizarcast, you can go to thebizarcast.com and click on submissions, and it has all the information there. Send us your submission for stories. If you want to submit something for the Obelisk, just go on there, go to or you can just send me an email at thebizarcast@gmail.com and just type Obelisk, and then send me like an article with photos or whatever. And that's it. We got a lot of stuff going on. Follow us on Twitter and Telegram. I'll see you guys next time here on the Bizarcast.